So remember when I made that video not too long ago about how I didn't think the Nintendo Switch Online service was going to be worth the $20 fee? And a lot of it was because of just a bunch of unknowns. And that upset some people because it's like, yeah, just because you don't know doesn't mean it's going to be all bad and not worth it. Well, one of the things I defended and one of the aspects of the online service that I was most interested in is the cloud saves or the cloud backup system, because if I ever want to not worry about my Switch breaking and maintaining my save states, I need a way to back them up. And since they don't offer local backups, which is something Nintendo needs to do, I was okay with the cloud save backups. I've been wanting cloud saves for a while. But I noted in that video that there's an asterisk on the website about it, and that is that not all games will support it. Well, with the Nintendo Direct being delayed, which I feel like was going to give us some details on that online service, some details have come out anyways. And some of those details include the fact that the reason that not every single game on Switch is going to necessarily have cloud saves is because when a game is submitted to Nintendo, the publisher of that game needs to tick a box. There is essentially a box that you tick when you submit your game to Nintendo that says, I want this game to support cloud saves or I don't. The developer and the publisher don't actually need to add in the cloud save feature. It is something that Nintendo will add into the game. So if you tick the box, boom, supports cloud saves, done deal. And you would figure, what games would possibly not tick that box? Well, it's a lot worse than we thought, because it's not just it's not just third party and some indie games that won't be supporting it. Game Informer has uncovered that the cloud save feature that we pay for the Nintendo Switch Online will not have cloud saves for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Dark Souls Remastered. It doesn't appear that Splatoon 2 is going to be supporting cloud saves either. And Dead Cells, FIFA 19, and NBA 2K19 will not be supporting the cloud saves either. Now, this is a huge deal. This is a bigger deal, I think, than anyone realizes. We are paying for access to an ability to back up our saves that cannot back up saves for some of the biggest games on Nintendo Switch, both from indie, third party, first party, Splatoon 2, hello, and even second party with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. This is a massive deal that these games are not supporting cloud saves. And this brings into question the entire point of cloud saves in the first place, which was to provide us an easy-to-use way to automatically, or even if we have to do it manually, back up our game saves in case something was to happen. At the moment, there is specific data for your account for Splatoon 2 that is not saved on Nintendo servers and is saved locally on your Switch, that if you lose your Switch, that data is gone. And that's going to be true for now. Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. It's going to be true for Dark Souls Remastered, a single-player game for crying out loud. It's going to be true for Splatoon 2, Dead Cells, FIFA 19, NBA 2K19, and probably many, many more games that we have yet to uncover. This is crazy to me that they are releasing one backup method that we have to pay to access that can't even back up some of the biggest games on the platform. This is a problem, folks. This is part of why I said the $20 fee might not be worth it. The cloud backups, to me, was the number one reason for me to get Nintendo Switch Online, besides being forced to have it to play multiplayer games. One of the multiplayer games that's locked behind it doesn't even support all the features you're paying for. So you're paying money to play Splatoon 2 online using peer-to-peer playing. So you're paying for access to the internet, and you're not even able to back up your save file for Splatoon 2. This is so crazy to me. Why is this a thing? Why is this a thing? Why are cloud saves not mandatory for every game on Switch? Why? This is so dumb. And it's even compounded because Nintendo does not offer a way to back up your saves locally. All this is going to do is validate all of the Switch hackers out there that have been backing up their save data for months, maybe even over a year plus at this point. They have hacked their Switch to put Homebrew on to back up their save files on micro SD cards, something Nintendo should just allow you to do natively, especially if you can't back them all up on their cloud service that Nintendo 100% controls, and we can't control if we have access to those servers or not. So it's bad enough that they want to make it so the only way to back up your games is through a service that you can't control if it's available or not. But now you can't even back up everything you have in the first place. Guys, if you can't tell, This is what I was trying to warn you about. This is what I was trying to say about this whole Nintendo Switch online service. Nintendo is not going all the way here. They're not learning lessons from the companies that have done this in the past. Nintendo is trying to pave their own way forward, and they haven't figured it out. It's been, by the time the service gets here, it's going to be about 1.5 years of the Nintendo Switch being on the market, and they still have not fleshed out a proper cloud save backup method that can support all games. They have not fleshed out why we should be paying to access P2P multiplayer games over a network that we already pay to access. Like, they have not fleshed out the NES games and what's going to happen with that and how this is supposed to be a virtual console replacement. Like, this is baffling to me that here we stand in the month the service is supposed to launch, and we're going to learn more information. We're going to get the other 10 NES games. We're probably going to see how these extra multiplayer features working on and everything, and they're going to promise there'll be games coming in the future. They probably won't tell us if SNES and N64 are going to be supported. They're not going to tell us how often these games are probably going to come past this year. And we're going to just be stuck sitting there saying we're paying for the service so we can play Splatoon 2, Mario Kart, and other games online. Right? That's the only reason we're paying for the service. I'm paying for the cloud backups, but the cloud backups aren't backing up my whole library, including some of the biggest games still to come to the platform this year. What's next? Is Smash Bros. Not going to support it now? It's frustrating. It's just a frustrating moment. And this news coming, in wake of the Nintendo Direct being delayed, which I think the Nintendo Direct delay was the right choice. I've heard whispers out there that it was due to a game that they might have been showing that would have been inappropriate considering the earthquake and the typhoon, of course. But even if that's not true, there's a whole aspect of chances are some people affected by this are literally family members of people that work at Nintendo. And there's just more important things going on in the world right now than cloud save backups and Nintendo Directs and video games. And I applaud Nintendo for probably delaying it about a week. It appears it's going to be a week delay based on some data we learned from Splatoon 2 updates. But that I don't even want to get into that. I can't believe that this is the backup method that we have in place where not only is not every game required to use it, not only are they requiring check boxes, which I guess you could say, well, then fine. The people behind Dark Souls Remastered obviously didn't check a box. Okay, so Nintendo didn't check their own box for Splatoon 2 and figure it out. It's just, something's not right. And we're probably never going to hear what's not right about this at all. Nintendo's going to make up a zillion excuses. Or just not say anything at all. Nintendo's pretty infamous about just, there's a problem, and dealing with the problem, we're just not going to acknowledge the problem in the first place. That's just what Nintendo does. You guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. If you can't tell, I'm obviously disappointed and think this is just absolutely redonkulous. And for those who don't know, I'm making a standalone video on this a little later. I don't know if it'll be tonight, but it'll be later. I am currently going to be delaying the podcast. We're not going to have a podcast for next week because we have been approved for a massive office expansion that requires some construction work and some other stuff that we're trying to push through. We're trying to get done. It's a very expensive endeavor because we're essentially taking the current office/studio, which is really dinky. We're talking like an 8-foot by 8-foot room, and we're expanding it into 3 times the size, including the room that's currently being used. That's still going to be part of it. And we're talking thousands of dollars that are going to have to be spent here that I don't necessarily have. If you would like to support the office expansion efforts, I will have a donation link down in the description to Streamlabs. If that's not working, there'll also be an additional donation link directly to PayPal. We've already bought some things that we have to install. We have to custom build a door frame and install a proper door to lock up the whole office to basically keep the kiddos out of it. For those who don't know, I do work from home. But this home wasn't built to be like a studio/office, and now we were doing a massive conversion. We need to get lots of furniture and lots of lighting. We need to get a lot of practical office things. I got to get a second computer built at some point here to support our streaming and editing efforts. So basically they can happen at the same time. Lots of things to work out through. If you would like to do a more long-term commitment to supporting us, I will include a link to our Patreon at patreon.com/Nintendo Prime. For as little as $1 a month, you get access to Patreon exclusive benefits. You get to become part of our Discord server, all of that great stuff, get more direct access to talking to me. And that's obviously a more long-term commitment that would go beyond just a one-time fundraiser for, basically getting a proper studio built. Lots of work to do, lots of stuff to plan out. But we're literally starting construction this weekend. So already got some stuff bought. We have a lot more to go. Can't wait to unveil it to you guys. Man, I'm excited. All right, folks. I'll catch you in the next one.